So we're at our consolidation warehouse in Shanghai. Usually what we do is, if you have multiple products that come from different factories, so we have them brought to our consolidation warehouse. This one's in Shanghai, we had other ones in South China and North China, but this one's close to our office, so I get to come to this one now. What we come to do is, we come to do a casual inspection of some of the products. Usually what we would do, we'd get a third-party inspector to come in, because they can just do it to a higher level, and we probably will end up with this particular shipment having a third-party inspector come in. So because it's multiple products, we're going to consolidate into one 20-foot container. So what we've got here is, we have kettlebells, okay? So we have 2s, 4s, 6, 8, 10, 12s, 14, 16 kilos. We also have, coming around, these are ankle weights. We have weights plates. So you're starting to see that this particular customer is a fitness customer. Fitness is one of the products we do a lot of. Okay, as we come over, we have hex dumbbells. And we have weights plates, you know, going from a 2.5 bumper plate right up to a 25 kilo. These big long boxes here, so these are two parts. This is one product, so this long box, and one of these. So this is a whole rig, so this is just small parts of the rig. Okay. And then coming over, we have hex dumbbells. Okay, so the majority of this stuff is unbranded. The plates are branded, and we have barbells at another warehouse, but they were too big to come into this warehouse. So we're looking through the quality. So as we go through things like this, you're looking at what's acceptable. So if you come over and get in on this, so when we're talking about a little bit of a lip there, things like that are acceptable. It's not perfect, but you know, it's fine. And that stuff comes off after you've used it. You know, it would have been nice if the factory could take that off, and that is something that we will mention to the factory. Okay, now some of this stuff is the full order, whereas some of it is just 1 or 2 pallets of their products, just to give us a chance to look at it before it leaves their warehouse. So one of the things we're looking at is, you know, instructions. You know, do the instructions make sense? You know, it's not the prettiest instruction booklet, but for this particular product, it's okay. You know, you're checking that sometimes it's what you call Chinglish, so they just translate directly from Chinese to English, and most of the time you can see it's not quite right if they've done that, but sometimes it just doesn't make sense, whereas these, they've been translated properly. These were pre-checked by us before we made the order. On things like this, we're looking at powder coated standards. So as you see this little thing here, there's a little chip there. If we kept on seeing that throughout the order, then that would be an issue, but that's a minor thing. With products like this, they are powder coated, so they will get chipped here and there. But on a whole, this part of the order is pretty good. Okay. Again, you're looking at things like cable, little parts like this, depending on where that was going. So this here, it's not great, but where that will be going, it doesn't pose any risk. Whereas if you were seeing this sort of stuff on this part, then that is going to be a problem. Okay. Right then, coming through what we have. So some of the stuff is good, some of the stuff could be better. So it's our job and an inspector's job to say what issues have been spotted. So if you look at here, so come over, this part here, you got little black marks that don't appear to easily rub off. So they actually look like stains. So we have marks on here, we have marks on here, marks on here, we have damage there, we have damage there. So we can bring a report together and the customer can decide whether it's acceptable or not. Little things like this particular plate, You know, it's still got a bit of oil on there, so they could have done with wiping that. All it would take is them wiping off with a towel to actually clean it. So little quality concerns like that. As we look at this particular plate, okay, you got marks on here. Okay, all through, black marks on there. So again, it's something that we want to identify. It's ridiculous how many factories just pump out shit. Now I gotta get another one of these out because they're all shit. So you want to identify this stuff before it leaves China. You don't want it to happen at all. But even if you vet a factory, you know, they've been in business for 10 years, they have millions of dollars of turnover a year, you know, they have 100 staff, that, you know, you can check their legal status and everything can be fine, but they can still pump out substandard stuff. I wouldn't say this is substandard, but there are improvements that can be made here. Now, one particular product over, so these kettlebells. So we've got more of these out because very quickly we identified a problem. So if we look at this particular one, so if you come over, so areas like this, like a split, that's unacceptable. Okay. Then what we have is we have things like this where there's little black marks. Again, it's just a matter of somebody rubbing it off. Whereas you have other areas are damage. So you can see we've got the damage here, got damage there. So when you're dealing with smaller orders and you're less value to the factory, it's unfortunate, but they will try sometimes and just give you substandard stuff. But that's why you have a manufacturing agreement in place. The manufacturing agreement we use is in both Chinese and English. We ensure that the AQL, which is just spelling out the quality standards, is very clear and very thorough of what is acceptable and what is unacceptable. Because these particular ones, you know, there are too many of them that have problems. There are too many of them that have marks. You know, that's not just something that will rub off. That's damage. So there are too many of them. So these have to go back, and they're legally obligated to get rid of all of the bad ones and replace them. If they're unable to do that, they're legally obligated to actually refund us the money. So yes, it's annoying. You paid money and you expected a delivery date, but this is better than them loading onto a container, arriving with you wherever you're shipping to, and then having them arrive to your customers with damage. So at this point, before they leave China, we definitely recommend inspections.